Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon as per your respective time zones. On behalf of the entire managed services team, we would like to welcome you all to the 23A HR Helpdesk and ORC Advisory Webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of this quarterly release that Oracle provides. My name is Rahul DK, and I'm Service Line Marketing Lead at Mastek. Today, I'm your host for this session. I'm glad to introduce my colleague, Charlene Parmar, who is a part of our vast HCM team at Mastek. Today, he will take us through all the HR Helpdesk and ORC updates for 23A quarterly release. Today's session is planned for around 45 to 60 minutes, and we will make sure that we also spare some time to answer all your questions that you may have. Before we move to the agenda, let's have a quick look at the important disclaimer. We would like to convey you our approach towards Oracle updates in a very simple manner. We'll, we will be taking you through vital analysis for the 23A updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporate new features and updates easily into the system. Also, we will sync you on any bugs or known issues if there are any. It's good to have an interactive session, so please do ask your questions through chat or question panel. We will answer them at the end of the session. We have senior panelists Adeep and Gandhi available with us. He can take any question during the session. In case if we run out of time, we will make sure to respond you back by connecting you at later stage to answer your questions. This is to give you a glimpse of how we have created the structure of this session. List of few new features coming into 23A, detailing of features so you get brief understanding on what new features are all about. Next one is what are the business benefits and the important takeaway for you as a decision maker. There are four components where we have done in-depth analysis of features which are going to present to you. First one is impact level analysis, which demonstrates the impact on the end user. If it's low impact, then regression testing can be avoided. If it's high, then we need to opt for regression testing. Second one is which is where we all are aware that there are some features which are by default auto-enabled by Oracle, and there are some which we need to opt for. Third one highlights the nature of the feature. There would be certain configuration which may be required, or some can be used without any changes. The last one is a quick win. This term we use to simply convey that what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and effort to make use of this feature. Moving ahead, we would like to know with the help of a quick poll, which industry does your organization belong to? This will help us create more fruitful webinar content moving forward. We are closing the poll now. Over to you, Shaheen.
Thank you, Rahul. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. As you already are aware of the agenda, we are going to go through today 23A release updates for the modules Oracle HR Helpdesk and Oracle Recruiting Cloud. Right. So quickly starting with this statistics, the number of updates that we are going to go through. So total there are around 50 statistics, 50 updates that we are going to go through, which includes the HR Helpdesk and Oracle Recruiting Cloud updates. So going forward, I'll call Oracle Recruiting Cloud as in short ORC. So ORC will stand for Oracle Recruiting Cloud. At this point, you can see in this graph there are two different bars which signify how these features are used. So you can see the one in blue on the left hand side, these are the default ones. So default means the ones which are readily available to you in your system. Once the update happens, you don't really need to go and configure or opt in specifically for that feature. They're readily available, and by the color blue it identifies that they are quick win. Quick win means you don't really need to put a lot of efforts in terms of using that feature. It is readily available and you can start using it as the release happens. On the right hand side, you can see the opt-in one. So there are 22 quick wins in opt-ins and one which is rest. We'll go through all these 50 features in this session. So considering just the amount of features that we have to go through, in case we are not able to cover everything, excuse us, but we'll try definitely share this with you at the end of the session, and you can review this and reach out to us if you have any questions. Team will be happy to help you with all your queries. And during the session as well, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat and questionnaire section, and our panelist Adib will be able to answer your questions. Right. So moving on, these are the four categories in which we have defined our features, starting with quick wins default with no configuration. As the name suggests, they are readily available without any configuration. Next is default with configuration, uh, quick wins with opt-ins, and the rest. Right. So going forward, we're starting with default with no configuration. Starting with the ORC features, these are the all quick wins, low impact, quick win features. This one is a really good feature, starting with making your candidates' life easy and more convenient. In the career section, they will be able to search for job requisitions right away. So earlier they would have to put in the keywords and specifically search for it. Now the enhancement will auto suggest them the requisitions as and when they start typing into the search bar. They wouldn't need to specifically search for it, and that will give them a better experience, giving them results as and when they type in the search box. Moving on to the next one, this feature is really great feature, really great addition to your career site. It enhances your security to a great level. Now what happens in your career site is that every 30 minutes, if you are inactive, your session will end, and the system at 27th minute will give you a message saying, are you active? If you are, you can continue working and your session will not end. But if you are inactive, the session will end on the 38th minute, making your career site more secure. The access code that is available to the candidate is accessible, is valid for 4 hours. After 4 hours, your session will automatically, you will have to generate a new code. But this in overall increases your security on your career site, and candidates at the start when they log in, they always have the option to keep them signed in. Using that feature, they wouldn't need to worry about getting the access to the career site. Next up is again ORC feature related to career site. Here we have the update in the editor. Now earlier we used to have CK editor 4. Now that has been upgraded to CK editor 5. This upgrade will enhance your career site experience to a very much high level. You can enhance your aesthetics of your career site using CK editor features in the enhanced version 5. That gives you more aesthetically pleasing career site, gives you more control and more options to customize your content of your career site. Moving on, this feature will allow again you to control what your career site looks like, specifically your job details page. So here, as you can see on the screenshot, this allows you to get control over your job page. What do you want to show on your job page exactly? You can choose from this configuration. So as you can see on the screenshot, you can choose what is available in your job details, what gets posted. So you can see over here, hot jobs and trending, all of these features are enabled over here. You can see there, gives the insight to the candidate what type of job requisition is this. This makes your career site more engaging and more insightful. Candidates can find right job requisitions quicker using this feature. Then next up, this again is in line with enhancing your candidate's experience and giving them the right job. So based on your job posting date and the hot job tag that you are given in your requisition, while you will talk about it, we'll see about this feature going forward. So when you define your requisition, you can define which requisition is a hot job, and based on that and the posting date of a requisition, system will give it a relevancy score, and it will use to show your job posting to more candidates and at the top of the listing. So candidate will get better um, jobs at the top of their screen, and that gives you more chances to find the right job for you as a candidate. Moving on to the next feature, and this one again enhances your data collection as an organization, and also gives a better user experience. Now in this update, in your application flow, which is the flow through which a candidate goes when they apply, you can configure that to a new level. So earlier you could define a career uh, an application flow on your career site, but the application flow would be more or less the same, and you could not individually make your fields visible, or make them uh, disabled on your career site. Now you can do that. So as you can see on the screen, in this sensitive information section, you can choose which fields are visible and which are not. That gives you more control of which data you want to collect from your candidates and what is more relevant based on your requirement. So your data collection also is improved. On to the next one. This feature is really great for all the users, all the I would say the user side of your organization, your recruiters, your hiring managers who are using system on day-to-day basis. Their life will be way easier in terms of searching candidates. Now what Oracle Recruiting provides in this feature as an update is that you can search for your candidates with more keywords. So as you can see over here, I'll zoom in a bit quickly. You can find a candidate and find them by these additional information. So earlier you could search by the keyword, and it would match the keyword and give you results. But using this feature, you can enhance your search, you can make your search more precise and get the right candidates easier and faster. So going forward to the next one, again, recruiters and hiring managers will really love this feature. This one gives you more information in your candidate pools. This will give you 3 main links where you can see all their applications that they have recently applied to, the interactions that were done on those individual applications, and the resume as well. So that gives you really good insight at the top of the screen. Instead of going into that individual and looking at those details one by one, this gives you quick glimpse on your candidate pool and helps you find the right candidate right away. So it also has a link, as you can see over here, for your resume, which opens up your resume of the candidate and gives you a preview. So you don't really need to navigate to a lot of places without losing the track of candidates that you had. So if you had multiple candidates, all of them will have this information shown, so recruiters can find uh, candidates quickly. Next up, this is an enhancement which will help payroll team much more. So while recruiting specifically the internal candidates, when you are converting them, when you are doing that intercompany movement, you can define payroll information while you are doing that. So in the following tasks, the task in the system where you create a new work relationship, your local and global transfer, add assignment and change assignment, you can have this payroll section enabled, where you can define the payroll information for that internal candidate, which reduce the manual activity for the payroll administrators to define that information specifically for a internal candidate. So this gives that more integrated experience and less manual activities and less chances of missing out on adding such crucial information when the transfer happens between within the organization. Next up, this is more in terms of how your data can be extracted. So the next few features are going to be in line with that. Here you can extract your hot job. So the hot job that you define on your career site can be extracted into your HCM extracts which are generally used for extracting the data for, could be for multiple purposes, typically integrations. This will give you really good extract. Easily you can extract your hot job information through the specific user entity, which is IRC extracts the acquisition details, and you can get your acquisitions which are hot jobs easily in the extract. For going forward to the next one, this is the similar feature, but in terms of job applications. So here, instead of hot job, you can also see the number of job submissions that have happened. So you can easily extract the number of jobs that have been by the candidates who have submitted on this particular job, and you can see the number of candidates and the applications there in the particular requisition. So you can see the number of applications might be different and consider the number of candidates. So in this release, as we'll go forward, we'll see one of the features coming up where you can see the number of candidates and number of applications accordingly, which gives you an insight where candidate, if they have reapplied, you can see the number of applications going higher than the candidate, where it indicates that some of the candidates have reapplied. So using this feature of extracts, you can see which those candidates are. And again, going forward in the same direction, and the same information is available in your business intelligence interface, your OTBS section. In this particular subject area, job application basic folder, you can find this same information in the discard by the name discarded flag. So you can easily understand if any candidate has applied more than once in your reports itself. So this is an extension to the same idea, same thought process of having to get the count of the candidates against the applications. And again, this follows the hot job flag is also available in the question reports now. You can use this information, extract that into your OTBI reports in this from this particular folder, which is job requisition basic information. Now this is a really great enhancement in terms of associating and getting the right assignment data for the candidate. Here you can see these are the list of fields from or you can see the information from core HR overall that is brought into the job offer recruiting section of your reports. You can have assignment category, numbers, status, seniority, calculation, etc. All this information available in your OTBI. So you can relate more HR specific details in the same job offer. You don't need to navigate to multiple places and find the relationship between the offer and the candidate and the core HR information. In extension to the enhancement to the recruitment OTBI reports, here in all the job requisition folders in position section specifically, now the access to that particular folder is restricted. Earlier, if you're using position, you could see all the data, but now in the enhancement, you can see only the position information that is available to you on the system in core HR using your HCM security. So that HCM security applies to your position data in HR in your HR position dimension in recruiting subject area. So that enhances your security as well. Now going to the HR help desk, some of the features. Now here is a feature which really makes your agents' life easy and makes them more productive. Agents will be able to establish relationships, edit relationship between service requests to make more logical relationships, navigate easily and faster, and give them easier way to manage their service requests. So they can define the relationship between individual service requests, which can get more insight on what and when to be done and which service requests are related, right? So increasing their productivity. The next one on HR help desk, this is a really good feature. I would say this can really help and make things simpler for everyone and gives more insight on how your service request is being working. It shows you the next milestone in the service request header itself. So along with status overall, you can see what's the next step and what's the next milestone, and accordingly get really good insight without having to navigate to a lot of places. And going forward here, again, a really good enhancement in terms of looking at your uh, content of your service request. So you can see the content of the email right away on your service request, the messages tab. Instead of going there, you can click on the email icon and it will show you the email over there. And you don't really need to navigate to place, and you can see that particular email right away on your screen. So that saves you time. Instead of going to a specific navigation, you can just click on that email content and it will show you in a way like a pop-up, and it will show you the detail of the email. You can scroll through it. It saves you a lot of time instead of going through multiple messages at different places. Moving on, similar enhancement on your attachments as well. So this can really, this small feature, but it really helps you manage your attachments in a really efficient manner. So instead of downloading your attachments, which was the earlier way, you can right away just see the preview of the attachment, save your time. You don't really need to download your attachments and manage them offline in your system. It's right away available on your service request. You see the preview, go through the attachment and make your necessary changes and take your decisions based on the attachment. It saves time and more efficient in terms of managing your resources. So these are some of the examples. You can directly go there and look at the particular attachment. So just to quickly show you the attachment section, you can directly click on preview and it will show you a preview like this. Right. On to the next one. Again, a really good enhancement in the Redwood experience. You can associate and create tasks and appointments within your service request, which helps the agents to manage their service requests very efficiently. They can break down a complex or big activity into smaller chunks, create smaller tasks and appointments within service request, assign them to individuals, and have more efficient handling of your service request. This basically will result into high productivity and better tracking of your service request, making your agent's life easy. Same feature has followed into your classic UI as well. The only difference here is the UI component, right? So that was Redwood experience. This is classic UI. Here you can perform the same activities, create your tasks and appointments, and have that ability, have that feature to manage the same thing in classic UI. Going forward, this feature will allow the user of HR Helpdesk to have better insight, a better relationship if they are working within multiple environments, multiple channels. It will allow them to optimize the association between certain links, certain data, and get better insights on what's happening into multiple channels by creating multiple queues. Going forward, using the BI connector, this is an enhancement in the reporting section. So you can use business intelligence, which is in short BI connector, and have this data extracted. These four components: the omni-channel, work order, cash management, SRC source managers. So you can really have more insightful data extracted through your business intelligence cloud connector through this but enhanced OTBI feature. Right. So that's it in terms of the quick wins without configuration. Now we'll go into the quick wins default with configuration. These are the ones which have some level of configuration. We'll see how much configuration goes into those individual feature, but most all of this will require some level of configuration. Starting with ORC related features, metrics in these requisitions can be enabled. So it will really make experience of your recruiters and your hiring managers more effective. It will give them more insight to the data right away. So using page composer, you can add such matrices within the requisition itself. As you can see, you can add such graphs, such details to your equation right away, and the recruiters and hiring managers can get insight of analytics of their requisitions without having to go to the OTBS section. Now this one, this is really helpful in terms of those customers who are using integrations, specifically the background check integrations. So in this feature, you will be able to share the additional fields on your assessment, activity or background check. All these additional fields can be sent to your partner. You can, apart from the standard information, you can use this information to be sent to the partner for better analysis, better results in terms of getting the background checks. This particular feature has a high impact, so we would suggest testing this out thoroughly since this is an integration specifically with the third party. So high level of testing is suggested before you start using this feature. But this feature is really useful after the testing is done and you're sure. This can really help you, get better background checks and better assessments done using the extra information that you can share with your partner. Next one, enhancement in interview management overall. So you can change the duration of an individual interview without having to change the schedule itself. So you can right away go to an individual interview, change the duration without having to edit the whole interview schedule. So you can let the candidate schedule based interviewers have the ability to make the change as and when they need without having to change the complete interview schedule. Going forward to the next one, again, an enhancement into the interview management. You can change the visibility of your interview again without having to do a lot of configuration, specifically in case of having a Microsoft 365 integration. If you have that, you can disallow the interviewers to let the candidates schedule their interview based on their availability. So in some cases where you would want candidates to schedule interview but not give them that visibility or that flexibility where they can look at the interviewers availability but still want to schedule some time. So if you want to give that feature, give that availability to the candidate, you can use this feature as in this enhancement. So going on to the ones from HR Helpdesk where we require some level of configuration, starting with this really great feature where you can enable adaptive search within the system. So using the additional features like date and time and the next milestone, you can search for precisely for the right service request, and you can save these searches in your Redwood Service Center as well. This will help your manage your agents to manage their service request in a highly efficient way and get those important critical service requests at hand by creating this such safe searches and get the right service requests easily and faster. Moving on to the next topic, next category, quick wins with opt-ins. So these are the features where you will have to opt in for individual feature. Once you opt in, that feature might be available right in, or you might have to do some level of configuration. Most of these features have very less level of configuration, so they are quick wins. Starting with ORC feature, again, this is a really great feature, making your candidates search very efficient and much more relevant. So what this does is basically, as you can see on the screenshot, once somebody by mistake provides incorrect input to the search bar, system will give you results with correct and more relevant searches. So here you can see the candidate has misspelled Java, and system suggests them like usually you'll see on search bars, specifically on Google. It gives you an option saying, did you mean that? And this basically comes out of your system, of your career site, which gives them more relevant searches. As you can see over here, they misspelled Java, but still system is giving them an option saying, did you mean this, and giving them relevant searches. So candidate search will become more optimized and more relevant to your job postings, and that will lead to more chances of having the candidate finding the right requisition that they want to apply and getting the right candidates for you as well as an organization. So you can enable this feature and start using this. The impact is, as it requires some level of testing. It is a high impact feature, but once enabled, it is going to give you a lot of returns in that as well. Uh, uh, this again is a really great feature in terms of defining the sources of a candidate. So while you define the sources, you can rename or change the source details to make it more accurate for yourself. So the domain name will appear in the particular URL that you're going to specify for your source. So you can have your name specified, and whenever required, you can change the source for a candidate as well. You can make it more accurate in case they are inaccurately mapped, or if there is a change for whichever reason in the source for a candidate. Moving on to the next one. Again, really good enhancement, small but really good enhancement in terms of candidate experience. Whenever your job is posted, earlier you could see only one location, even though the requisition was applied for multiple, available for multiple locations. As you can see on the screenshot below the requisition name, you can see multiple locations. If there are more than two, you can see such an option which says and more locations. So once you click on it or hover over it, you can see more locations that are available for this acquisition, giving easy insight, fast insight to the candidate if they are looking for more locations, and giving them more data to choose from. Next one, this feature is really helpful in terms of defining a career site. A lot of these features which are going to come forward are going to make your career site more aesthetically pleasing and gives you more control as well on what displays on your career site. So this is one such feature where you can define the site name in your URL. So this, just to clarify, is not your ability to change the URL, but it just adds name to your URL. So you can specify what would be the site name. So with your URL in your career site, this name will be added, and it gives a better corporate branding in terms of having the career site URL. So your vanity URL stays there. Definitely it's available and you can use that. But if you don't want to use and just want to rename the URL, you can definitely use this feature and have your similar URL there with the correct corporate branding. Now going forward to a really great enhancement in terms of how requisitions are managed on career site. So going with the trend and the industry practice of having job offers or openings which are from remote work as well, this feature will allow and will let the recruiters or hiring team define if a job is on-site, hybrid, or remote. And this will allow candidates as well to find their appropriate job, their preferred job based on this workplace location. So based just apart from your actual primary location where the candidate is going to work, they can also have the option to see whether it's going to be a remote job or hybrid job, right? Giving them more insight and making it easier for them to um, get the right job. And this feature overall itself has a really high impact in terms of what your candidates will see and how they will react to your requisitions. So before enabling that, just brainstorm around the idea, would you want to enable this feature? This can attract a lot of candidates in terms if you offer remote locations, as it's something that now is a really widespread feature where candidates are offered remote jobs. So yeah, this can really help you get more candidates and appropriate candidates from your career site. Going forward, allowing candidates to withdraw. So in this case, the enhancement is that the candidates who had rejected earlier, they would be able to reapply on the same job. So this aligns to the earlier features that we were talking about, where system will allow you to report on that information. But here, that relies on this update, where you will allow your candidates who had withdrawn to reapply, giving them the opportunity to reapply, and for yourself as an organization to potentially get back a candidate who had withdrawn for whichever reason, but is now willing to apply and join your organization. So that can give you better and more candidates likely who had withdrawn and who are willing to reapply. Now, this feature, a really nice feature in terms of managing the candidate profiles. Now you can print the candidate profiles and choose whatever you want to print specifically. So these are the options that are currently available. You can use the section specifically. You choose what shows up in the candidate profile. So you can tick or untick the respective information that you're looking for and print them in the PDF format. Now, in line to the earlier feature that we discussed about enhanced CK editor. So this is how the CK editor will look like. The one that above you see is CK editor 4, which visibly has lesser features to enhance your text, while over here you can see it has much more enhanced and more formatting options available for you to make your content more attractive, more organized, and more efficient in terms of using that text. So CK editor 5 can really help you enhance your content that you want to post on your career site. Moving forward, so the miscellaneous documents which are attached by the candidate. So you can define what goes into that. So this feature will give you a lot of control on what candidates can apply, candidates can give while they are applying. So earlier there were a list of acceptable formats, but there was no restriction within what format has to be applied. So just for example, over here you can see currently .doc, docx, and PDF are available, and let's assume there was JPG, PNG allowed as well. So now you can choose out of these 5 which 2 formats you want to accept, so that it makes, for example, your resume parsing more accurate. So you can just allow doc files to be docx files or doc files to be uploaded, with which you can get better resume parsing. So this feature can really enhance how you collect your data and control what goes into your system. Sometimes, just some candidates tend to have their resumes or their documents stored as an image, which can, which make it difficult to parse that or, access that if they are in image or JPG format. So this gives you really good control over there. On to the next one again, career site has been really focused on this particular release. You can see over here, you can see the list of filters have increased. So now you can see 10 filters at the same time, which gives the users more visibility of the details available, and they can filter out data quicker with these options. You can definitely scroll through and type by using this filter button, but having 10 options over here makes it easier and better for you to search for your filter for your relevant data. Right, now this is a really great feature. So using your mic, now you can use your Microsoft Teams right away with your interview management. With this feature, you can define the Teams integration, and you can schedule right away your interviews, and they are integrated with your Microsoft Teams system. So you do not really need to schedule a Teams meeting and then utilize that link in Oracle Recruiting. You can right away schedule an interview using Teams integration. So whichever details you define on the recruiting system, the system will integrate with Microsoft Teams. Recruiting system will generate an interview or that particular time slot in Teams system with the integration. So that enhances your interview management to a great extent. Moving on to the next feature. Now this really enhances the recruitment assistant for you. So the ORA Oracle Recruiting Assistance is enhanced and is going to have more skills. So skill technically is something that your ORA has, which basically defines the ability to process a particular command. So now you can add more skills to your ORA, which will be able to respond to better it will be able to respond better to your queries, to your candidates' queries. You can add more skills, which will make better results and will give candidates better experience overall using the ORA. So here is a quick glimpse of it. So the skills that you can see over here, the responses that your ORA will be able to provide. that can be enhanced to a new level. You can add more enhanced skills so that right options, right searches are available to the candidate. Now, going forward, coordinating interviews. So this is a really great feature. With this, you will get a separate work area in your self-service, and you can manage all your interviews right away over here. So instead of navigating to individual requisitions and finding the interviews, this will give you a one-stop shop for maintaining all your interviews. All your activities regarding interviews can be reduced. So all the recruitment team will absolutely love this, and their task of managing and always trying to remember which requisition are we hiring for the interviews. All that information can be sorted really quickly, and they can manage interviews faster. Right. This again is a really good feature in terms of interview request scheduling. With this feature, communications with the interview coordinator is simplified, and it provides the list of interviews that they need to take care of. So they sort of again are giving enhanced features to the interviews to manage their interviews in a better way. As you can see on the screenshots, you can ask for the interviews to be scheduled instead of waiting for the interview to be scheduled by the other user, and it allows you to maintain everything at the one place only. Right. Absolutely amazing feature. This is one of my favorites in this release. This is where you as an individual can manage all your interviews. So this will give you a particular schedule like we have in HCM, where it shows you the calendar. This shows you your calendar within the system, wherever your interviews are scheduled. You can manage them. You can scroll through your calendar and check for the interviews whichever are scheduled. They are all color coded based on the statuses. You can see everything at one place, and this makes an interviewer's life very easy. Introduction. This feature is a really good introduction in terms of new feature. Hiring events. So this is something called hiring events, which is going to be introduced over here, and you can use hiring events, which are basically an event that you want to organize. In terms of, generally you would have something like job fairs, where you will go to a particular place and have your organization doing a recruitment drive, right? So you can create such hiring events in the system, and have a large scale hiring done through this hiring events. You can broadcast your events to multiple sources, get more candidates, and have a better range in terms of getting to the candidates. And a typical example of that would be a campus placement drive, your job fair drives at specific job fairs. So this can help you set up those hiring events. In line with the hiring events, you can create and format them. Simple enough but quite useful. Recruiting team can easily manage these events and have a specific section for it. You don't have to look at specific requisitions. In that case, everything is clubbed into one section, and you can manage an event from the self-service. And again, having one of the main reasons for having an hiring event to have your jobs more advertised, reach out to a larger audience. So you can use advertising feature that is part of this enhancement of your hiring events. You can broadcast your hiring events and get more and more candidates applying to for your organization using this advertisement feature. So again, reaching out to candidates is one of the primary objective of this hiring event. So you can also have a candidate self-registration, self-service established, configured using this new feature. So candidates can, once they come across the advertisement that you put through, they can come to your registration self-service and register themselves for your recruitment drives. So here they can search for those particular events along with the job, and once they find out about the particular event, they can search for it in the find section and apply for those particular recruitment fairs or hiring events, as you can see. Right. And in line with that extension of that particular feature of hiring events, you can manage the hiring events and engage the candidates. It basically gives a very simplified process to self-register. As you can see, they will allow the candidates to check in and provide the details, keep the audience, the candidates updated of what's the next plan, what's the next event, and recording. It will help you to record all the conversation that happen to with the candidates. So you also have better track and better data collection through those hiring events. And specifically for those hiring events, based on the candidate pool that you have, based on the data that you provide in your hiring event, you will be able to get the right candidates automatically suggested by your system. So the system can give you candidate which match to your hiring events in this enhancement. Right. And last few features on HR Helpdesk in terms of uh, quick wins with configurations, and here you can have bi-directional events, the communication between the UI. So you can use this feature to have two-directional communication using this particular update. And in the next up is the integration between Microsoft Exchange service. So you can, this enhancement will provide you an better improved integration between Microsoft Exchange services for email communication, service request, with attachment up to 12, 15 MBs can be managed using the Exchange server. It gives you the ability to store more information, have more data collected on your server side. Right. Next up is the rest section, but just taking time into consideration, I would like to hand over to Rahul, considering a lot of the attendees will have some questions for us to address. So I would like to hand it over to Rahul, but please feel free to share your questions on the questionnaire and chat side. So, back to you, Rahul. Thanks for this.
Thank you, Shalin, for the wonderful insights. Before we move to Q&A with the help of a quick poll, we would quickly like to note down your area of interest. This will help us in organizing future webinars with much more value-based content. So please let us know your area of interest, whether it's technology innovation, managed services, value-based analytics, or Glide 4.0. So we're closing the poll now. Okay. You will receive an email in next couple of days' time wherein presentation and session recordings and test scripts would also be available at a single click. So please reach out to your colleagues and pass on this message that we do have other sessions coming up in next week. So we have SM procurement, advanced procurement on 17th. We also have workforce management and global payroll. Next week we have a very good session planned up from 17th to 19th. Before you leave us, we would like to have a quick feedback on today's session. Please rate your overall experience of today's sessions, 1 being the lowest rating and 5 being the highest. Thank you. We're closing the poll now. And just one last question before we close this session. Have you attended any previous Advice Series sessions? We're closing the poll now. Thanks, everyone.